Hare Krishna, dear devotees. In this video, I would like to talk about what is depression and how depression comes in our lives and how Vedic knowledge can solve this problem and how Vedic knowledge explains this problem. What is depression? According to the science, depression is seen as something which is not sadness, but it's a state of the mind where a person feels lack of interest in day-to-day life activities. Person feels low about himself or herself, and person feels like, what's the meaning of my life? What's the point of my life? And it's a pain in the mind that the person doesn't care about sufferings after death. Person even ready to commit suicide just to get rid of that pain in the mind. So that's a very difficult disease, and it's actually a disease. And depression can come to any of us, be it a Bollywood actor or actress, or Hollywood actor or actress, or simple person like myself, or any one of us. If we are human beings, this depression can come to any one of us. Causes of depression may be many. Like if somebody hurt you, somebody in the assembly of so many people, they talk bad about you and decrease your confidence, decrease your image in the society, hurt your image in the society. That may be the cause of depression. And or if you lost someone whom you loved and lived for, your kid or your husband or your wife, and that may be the cause of depression. After that person feels, what's the meaning of my life? Causes of depression can be unexplained. It can come out of nowhere. So that's a big enigma in the science world. But Vedas have answer to that. And let's go through the knowledge of Vedas, how they explain what is depression and how to overcome that depression. So Vedas talk about karma, and Vedas also tell that as a soul, the living consciousness, we have changed millions of lives, millions of bodies. Sometimes I was born in a body of a tree, sometimes in a body of a grass, sometimes in a body of an ant or an elephant, and then cow, and then human being, and then again to the lower species. Or I was a demigod in the heavenly planets, or a sage in the higher planetary systems. So Vedas talk about that there is reincarnation, and we keep on changing our bodies one after another and accumulating something called karma. Karma is nothing but a reaction to our actions, particular actions. Suppose I gave a delicious food, very warm food, to a hungry person. As a result, that person, even if he didn't mention it, but he showered his blessings upon me. So those blessings will come as a auspicious karma in my life. Maybe next lifetime or this lifetime, I'll get similar kind of help from other people. That is called karma. You do something and you get the reaction. And the karma, the reaction of karma can be short term or can be long term. For example, some 2 years back, one person in Las Vegas took a gun and shot 500 people in one day and in one night. Can you imagine what kind of karma it was? It was long-term karma. And it's only not about for one lifetime, it's for 500 lifetimes plus the curses of the relatives of those people. Imagine somebody lost his kid. Imagine somebody lost his father or husband. And they forward their curses to that killer. So as a result, that person who killed 500 people and hurt the hearts of thousands of people will have to take birth 500 times or more in order to be killed again. Killed himself. So that's a long-term reaction for an action. So as you see, in one lifetime, we can create hundreds of lifetimes karmas. Or we can create something very small. So like this, we accumulate karmas. And these types of karmas we have unlimited. It's like I have here a grapes. As you see, the grapes. Let's imagine this is our whole karma, which we accumulated for many millions of lifetimes. And when we, in order to use up that karma, we are always given a gross body, which means a human body or animal body or plant body. So for this lifetime, I may be given this karma. For 120 years or whatever lifetime I will live, I will be dealing with this karma. It is filled up with bad and good reactions, so I have to deal with this karma. And while dealing with this karma, I am accumulating here a lot more seeds, a lot more, because of my actions in this lifetime. I'm not touching this karma when I'm living in this life. But there are methods of touching even this karma while living in this. We will discuss it later. But what I want to say is that we are living with this reaction which we accumulated from past lives. And it has bad and good reactions. And these reactions may come in a gross level or in a subtle level. One time, one Russian lady crying one day, she said she is suffering. And I heard her story. She was telling that when she was in Russia, she married. She was not a devotee. She was a normal living being living her life. She was married and her husband left her. She continued living. She got married again. She got a baby. And when baby was only 2 or 4 years old, this husband died. As a result, she had to work so hard to maintain this kid and to maintain herself. She used to travel long distance to her job, giving her kid to a kindergarten, and after that coming home and taking care of her kid. And she lived like that for like 20 or 30 years until her kid grew up. And she told me that it was a struggle. Even if she worked many hours a day, she was not getting enough money to support her kid and herself. So many struggles. She was not having proper place to stay, renting this place and that place. But she said, recently my son moved to US. He got a job and he settled down. He pulled me out of that place also. I am also in US. Now I have a car. Now I have a home. Now I have money. I have social security. I don't have to work. And my son is happy. He's earning a lot. But I am suffering mental sickness. So I told her that in Russia, when you were fighting so many struggles in your life, outer world, actually your bad karma was coming through those struggles in a physical level. When you came to US, you had all comforts, but that bad karma, that chunk of bad karma has to come some way. So it was coming in your mental world in the form of deep depression and mental disease. No matter how much you have, no matter how much money you have, food you have, health you have, still that mental suffering she was having. So that's a reaction. That's a reaction of the bad karma we did in the past. And those karmas keep on coming, either good or bad, they will come, because we have this seed filled up with good and bad karmas, and we cannot throw this and leave. We have to pass the exams. Those good and bad karmas are like exams, and they will come either in subtle mental level or in the gross level as a physical struggle. But some people, when they become depressed, they think that if I commit suicide, then I'll get rid of all the depression in my mind. Actually, depression is in the mind. And according to Vedas, death is nothing other than separating the mental body from the physical body. So even if those people commit suicide, they won't have a gross body, but they will live with subtle body and with subtle depression. So that's why ghosts are scary, because they are not satisfied in life. Vedas say those who commit suicide become ghosts. Why? Because we had karma. If we didn't accomplish this karma fully and we took our life beforehand, then still in our subtle body we have to get the reactions to our bad and good karmas. And in body was a tool, physical body was a tool to use up this karma, good or bad. But when we get separated from gross body, it is very difficult to wash away all the karmas, good or bad. So that's why when person becomes a ghost, he will live on that place on the earth, around that place where he was born or where he was attached for thousands of years. Whereas in the body, he would have lived on 100 and wash away his karma and take another body. But because now he is in subtle body, he doesn't have tool to wash away the karma, feel that pain, get that struggle, or enjoy that good karmas. Now let me explain to you that we have 3 bodies. What does it mean? We have a gross body, which we can touch, feel, with which we can see, hear, speak, create some sound, with which we can eat, with which we can act. That's called gross body. And we also have a subtle body. Now if you imagine closing your eyes and ice cream in a hot summer day, imagine ice cream in front of your eyes, and it's pink color strawberry ice cream, and it's melting, it's so cold, and you just wanna eat it. And there is a spoon, don't worry. Put that spoon on top of that ice cream and take a little bit and put into your mouth. And it melts, so sweet, taste of a cold strawberry. Did you feel something? If you could imagine that ice cream, and if you could eat that ice cream in your mind, that tells that we have subtle body, which we cannot see, but we can perceive. So that subtle body is made of mind, intelligence, and false ego. Subtle body we cannot see, but we can perceive. We have emotions, we feel in love, We fall in love, we love particular people, we don't like particular people, we have hatred, we have jealousy. Those are all related to our subtle body. Those are all coming out of subtle body. As like gross body has eyes, ears to hear, mouth to speak, to taste, the same way subtle body also have those subtle senses. So imagining something, we can enjoy it. Or imagining something in the past which happened bad, we can suffer. So that is the symptoms of a subtle body. And we also have us, that means consciousness, soul, which is separate from subtle body and gross body, which sits inside the heart. And that is us, spiritual being. And as I told earlier, death is nothing other than separating the subtle body from the gross body. So if we damage this gross body, subtle body comes out along with soul, comes out of this body, and that's called death. And if somebody wants to get rid of depression by committing suicide, because depression is something in the mind, in the subtle body, it goes along with the subtle body. He cannot solve the problem of depression by committing suicide. So now, what is the remedy for this depression? Vedas talk about volunteer austerity. Our bad karmas or good karmas, they keep on coming on their own. But if we remedy, the word remedy means we voluntarily accept some pain to get rid of the bad karma. Like if you don't want the thieves to enter your home, better you donate some money to the temple. Donate it regularly. As a result, you're voluntarily giving out some money. It's causing pain to you because you won't have that money yourself. But you're doing it voluntarily. Then thief won't come to your home. Because according to your karma, bad result of your karma, it's supposed to be that you are losing money in this month. You will lose it anyway. So remedy is, why not to lose it voluntarily? The same way, if you are doing exercise, daily exercise, so much suffering, so difficult, or you're waking up early, it's so difficult, but you are forcing yourself and doing it voluntarily, it's an austerity. But you do it voluntarily. Actually, you are washing away your bad karma because you are voluntarily accepting that suffering. Otherwise, what will happen? If you don't suffer waking up early morning voluntarily, if you don't do exercise voluntarily, if you don't sleep early voluntarily, it's difficult. But if you don't do that, then you may become sick and sleep in the hospital involuntarily because of sickness and because of pain, involuntary pain. But if you tear your muscles and exercise, it pains, body pains, but you did it voluntarily and it was a good for your body. And at the same time, you washed away so much karma in your life. So the remedy for depression is doing volunteer austerities. Volunteer sufferings. But those austerities we don't create ourselves. We do it according to the scriptures. And here are the 3 austerities which we can do to get rid of our bad karma, so that our bad karma doesn't come in the form of mental depression. First thing we need to do is, it's a simple thing, and that is exercise, and especially yoga. We devotees, we think that, oh, I'm doing chanting, I don't need to, it's a waste of time. But we are still in this gross body, and this body requires help. And devotees also go through depression. We also know so many devotees committed suicide. So devotees also go through depression. The number is less, but still. And devotees also go through bodily struggles. So no matter we are devotees or non-devotees, exercise is important. And why, I will tell you now. So this next three things I will explain is, first thing is using our gross body to influence the subtle body. As we told, we have three bodies. And first stage is using our gross body, we can influence the subtle body. How it happens? Now imagine you are flying over Delhi or San Francisco. And when you look from the airplane down, you will see so many roads going in the city. Different roads crossing each other, and so many cars moving in those roads. So those roads are like nadis in our subtle body. Nadis means channels. In our subtle body we have nadis, channels. And those intersections in the roads, smaller intersections or bigger intersections, are called chakras. So when those nadis in our subtle body intersect, one nadi to second nadi intersect, that place is called chakras. And chakras are the points, energetic points, where our subtle body and gross body is united. Through those chakras, we send information to the subtle body, and subtle body sends information to a gross body. So by influencing those chakras, we can influence the mind, or by influencing those chakras, we can influence the gross body. And those cars on the roads are like pranas, different types of pranas which are accomplishing different types of goals, so that everyone is happy in the city. But now imagine you are looking over the San Francisco or Delhi, but suddenly you see a jam, traffic jam. And people are shouting. What they do in that jam? Shout. 2 hours, 3 hours, they're sitting, and somebody will shout, my kid is alone. Somebody will shout, my home is open. Somebody will shout, I am hungry, I need to go home. So traffic jam causes a problem. Heat up. People will get suffering. They will start suffering in that traffic jam. So if the same thing happens in our body, if those pranas cannot move properly, if that traffic jam happens in our nadis, at that place we get sickness. If that traffic jam happens in the stomach area, we get ulcers. If that happens in our neck area, we get cold throat and these problems. If we get that traffic jam in our legs, we'll get another problem. And if we get traffic jam in our brain, we may get depression. So that's why yoga is important, and especially in the nature, because nature has some power which can open those nadis, balance out, open, clean up those nadis. Nature has that power. And yoga is specially designed to balance those channels, to balance out those chakras, so that they open and they work properly, they accomplish all the goals. So the first method of overcoming the depression related problems is doing yoga. And yoga, it balances out all the chakras, and as a result, person with balanced chakras won't have much problem with depression, mental sickness. I met one yoga teacher, and he told he was having, before starting yoga, he was having mental sickness and he was using drugs. He was drug addict and he was doing crimes. But when he started doing yoga, his life completely changed. He gave up drug, he gave up violent crimes, and he became a good citizen. Now he's interested in spirituality. So as you see, when person does yoga, all the chakras get balanced and they automatically start becoming compassionate. Many of them give up meat eating and start loving animals. They become vegans. So because those higher chakras and lower chakras, all the chakras get balanced by doing yoga. So this is the first method where we use our body to help the subtle body to overcome the depression, the sickness, mental sickness. And the second way of overcoming depression is using subtle body to help the subtle body itself. Long back, when I was in my country, I was a chess player, and there was another girl. She was also a chess player. She was also very successful. She was younger to me, 6 years younger, and I used to have with her very professional talks. I never thought of becoming friends with her. Like in chess, we come and we play and we don't do much. And she was so successful. When time came for her to study in higher education, one university in our country opened a special department for her to accept her as a student. It was a privilege for the university. Another university accepted me, but this university opened a special department for her to accept so that they will get some name and fame. Besides her career in chess and education, she was so beautiful, so young, good parents, nice money. And in our country, to enter into a university, it's like 300 people fighting for one place. It is so difficult. But she was accepted without exam. She was very fortunate, very successful. Her names used to come in the newspaper, television, many times national champion of the country. But one day, I was walking towards my university and I met her on the road. It happened so that her dormitory was closer to my university. And on the road, while we were walking together, suddenly she told me, "Can we meet sometime and talk?" I've never heard this kind of suggestion from her. We were colleagues, we never talked so personally. We were professional friends or colleagues. I never thought of becoming friends with her. She was so young, but this time she was telling, "Can we meet sometime and talk? I really need to talk to you." I said, "Oh yes, why not? Please, let me know when you want to talk." Probably then exchanged our phones. And it so happened that I didn't hear from her after that. And after many months, I came to a chess club and I heard the news. They told that same girl burned herself in fire. She put fire on herself and she committed suicide. I was shocked, devastated. Why that? So much success, so much beauty, money, fame, followers. But why? I remembered that day when she was telling me honestly she wanted to talk to me. And then I blamed myself why I didn't call her myself. I waited for her. But it so happened that it was too late. And blaming, I couldn't do anything. The second method of overcoming this disease state, it's a disease state, is approaching people. We need to have at least someone in our lives who can give her or his shoulder to us, who can hear us, and who can wipe our tears, who won't laugh at us, who will understand us, and who will help us, and who will be with us. We don't need thousands of subscribers on YouTube. We don't need thousands of friends on Facebook or Instagram. We don't need hundreds of likes of our posts on Facebook. We just need one person who is ready to give his heart to us, who is ready to listen to us, so that we can speak, we can tell what we are going through in life. And even in nowadays, when you meet a psychologist regarding mental disorder, the first thing they will use is talk therapy. They'll make you talk so that you bring out all the problems, what you have in your heart. So we need someone, at least one person in our lives whom we can trust our hearts. But that girl didn't have that person, and her mind took over her. Now the third method of overcoming depression is with the help of soul, the consciousness. We can help the subtle body to remove that depression, to get rid of that depression. And to explain that, I will tell again one more story. When I was 6 years old, and especially if you're a girl, you will understand my story. I don't know about men because they are so much different than women. But if you're a girl, you will understand what I'm talking about. So when I was 6 years old, I was playing in the courtyard with my dog. I was not a devotee. We used to have a dog. Of course, he wouldn't enter our home. He was in the courtyard and eat food and play and protect the house. So I was playing with that dog, with my dog. And suddenly, yellow bee, started flying around my dog. And my dog tried to bite that bee with his big mouth, and that bee slipped over his mouth. And he came right around my eyes and stung me here near my nose. At that moment, before that, I used to love my face. My face was smooth, no pimples at 6 years. And when that bee stung my face, immediately I went to the bathroom to look at the mirror. What happened to my face? And I saw a dot. And there was a needle on top of that dot. I thought, it's the end of my life. Now nobody will marry me. I have a dot on my face. I was really feeling suffering, depressed. Immediately, I didn't tell anyone, and I went towards a very corner of the room, and as a room where mattresses were stacked up, I entered into that mattress and I put my face there and I started crying. I was weeping. I thought that's it, my beauty is gone, I have a dot on my nose. And I wanted to disappear. A small child, 6 years old, so much attached to body, so much thinks this is my body. But that so much small dot gave me so much depression that I wanted to get lost. At that age, I never thought, and I didn't know that you can commit suicide or something like that. No television, no internet. But the only thing I could do is just hide somewhere and cry. And so many hours passed. Suddenly I woke up. It was evening. And my eyes were like, I couldn't see properly. I thought it's because I cried a lot. And I came out. And I saw my brother and my cousins. My brother looked at me, started laughing at me, and showed my cousins. My cousins also started laughing at me. I thought, yes, it's because of this dot they're laughing at me. Again, I remembered that dot. Then my elder sister pulled my hand. She was shocked seeing me, brought me to the garden and took a fresh mud and started applying on my face. And my brother and cousins started laughing even louder. That was a day horrible. I felt myself horrible. What she's doing now? Applying black mud on my face. Actually, it was an allergy. I had a bee allergy. When I was crying and sleeping during that time, my face became swollen. And for next 7 days, I was not able to breathe with my nose and I couldn't see. My mother was a doctor, so she was putting so many injections just to keep me alive. So that was my condition, just because of that dot. I wanted to get lost. But let me tell you another story. After many years, and I grew up, I was in my 25 or 24. I was in India. I was into spirituality. I started practicing Krishna consciousness. I started chanting. I started reading all the books of Prabhupada. And I was in the yatra in Vrindavan, in Govardhan, in the Radhanath Swami's yatra with 5,000 devotees. And I chose to live in the dormitory. Because in the dormitory you will live in one room with 10 other Matajis, ladies. So it's very interesting and it's also cheap to stay. More than that, it is so interesting that all of you wake up together and go together everywhere. But there was some discomfortable thing, is that washroom, the bathroom was outside of dormitory and the mirror was even outside of bathroom. So mirror was in the courtyard where so many people are walking and sunshine is there and you will look at yourself in the daylight. And those days I was so much interested in getting married, and so I was putting so many cosmetics, foundation, powder, eyeshadows and lipsticks. I thought I'm very beautiful and I will get married soon. But one day I took bath and I came out to apply all those cosmetics on my face to the courtyard. And when I was looking at that mirror, I smiled and I noticed the wrinkle right here. When I smiled, it was so much wrinkled. In the bathroom light or in this camera light, you cannot see that wrinkle. But under sunlight, I was seeing it. I thought, in my teenage years, I had so many pimples. I was suffering. But now I don't have pimples. But now I have wrinkles. Pimples will go away, they have an end. But wrinkles don't have an end. Once they start, they are for life. They keep on increasing. At that time I thought, that's it. Nobody will marry me. I'm now so old. I have wrinkles. I started suffering so much. What's the point of this body? So much attached I am. In that suffering state, I started taking shelter of the holy place. Oh Krishna, please give me understanding that I'm not this body, but I'm beautiful soul. I don't become old. Body becomes old. Then at that evening there was lecture of Radhanath Maharaj. I was sitting and was rapt attention listening to the lecture, and he was telling, you are soul, not this body. And during Kirtan, I was understanding that I am soul, I am not this body. Body wrinkles, gets old and dies. But I am soul, eternal, and never die and never get old. I started hearing with so much deep attention the holy names. And I was dancing, chanting loudly. As a result, to my wrinkles, I said, so what? My face becomes old. So many people, great people in the past became old. So many celebrities, they became old and died. This body is meant to take birth and to leave, to die. And during life, it goes through youth, it goes through adult age, and then it goes to old age and then leaves. So it's a natural thing which is happening to the body. And it's a suffering. When I was 6 years old, I thought it's the end of my life. I don't have any solution. I don't have any hope because I thought I'm this body. But when I got spiritual knowledge after many years, when I had similar problem but little bit serious because wrinkle, I was depressed again. But then I had a spiritual practice which helped me to overcome that depression. So with the help of spirit, the soul, and with spiritual practice, connecting that spirit, soul, and consciousness into higher consciousness, higher practice, spiritual chanting of the mantras helps to solve the problem of the body and of the mind. And that's a very powerful method. And it's an austerity. To chant the mantra, you need to concentrate your mind. For 2 hours you have to chant. It's austerity. If you don't use that 2 hours in chanting, we could have enjoyed that, watched movies to do that spiritual practice. And it's a volunteer austerity. Same way, having that one person in our life, very close, to have that person, we have to shed bloods. We have to serve people so selflessly. Care, love them, then we will have that kind of person. That person doesn't come out of nowhere. And it's austerity. We have to earn that kind of person who will listen us during our difficult situations. And the yoga, exercise, difficult. But if we do it voluntarily, we will overcome many bad karmas, and then we will get rid of involuntary sufferings in the form of depression. So the third austerity is the spiritual practice. In earlier ages like Satya Yuga, people's spiritual practice was doing meditation. They were so disciplined and strong mentally that they were able to meditate for thousands of years underwater, no breathing, no eating. They could do that. and keeping the life air inside the bones. They were so much austere. But after some time, the qualification of people reduced. Dwapara Yuga, they started doing yagyas and they were so rich. When you do yagya, you have to donate tons of gold, cows, so that yagya, the fire, the form of Vishnu, will be pleased. And then when the qualifications of people reduced even more, now in Treta Yuga, in Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga is actually second, Dwapara is third. So in Dwapara Yuga, they were not able to perform those big yagyas. Not everyone. So the spiritual practice was worshipping the deities opulently, offering gold, not plastic or iron, gold, and worshipping, offering lots of foods. But in Kali Yuga, we are so weak. We cannot even fast for 2 days without water, without food. We do it even one day. We do it with so much struggle. Our bodies are weak. We cannot stop this mind even for a second. Our mind is so weak. So because in Kali Yuga, we are so weak, so diseased, for us is given the strongest medicine, which is called mantra. Mantra meditation. Mantra. Man means mind. Tra means that which liberates the mind. So spiritual practice in Kali Yuga is mantra meditation. And just by chanting the holy names, voluntarily accepting that austerity of sitting and concentrating, trying at least to concentrate, that will help us to understand that we are soul. And that will help us to understand that bad karma, fruits of bad karma, fruits of good karma keep on coming, and we have to tolerate. And when we have that spiritual practice, we will have hope. Some great people of this century, like Tony Robbins, he says, don't live for yourself if you want to overcome the depression. Live for your people, live for your country, live for the world. But Vedas have something to say more. Live for God. Live for someone who never dies and who is your eternal friend. So that's why Vedas say that spiritual practice, connection with God, doing devotional service to God by chanting His names, is the perfect spiritual practice which will help us to overcome all the problems related to bad karma. And I told you, with these grapes, when we are living through this karma, we can create thousands more like this fruits in that karma, in the unmanifested karma. But if we do spiritual practice, especially mantra meditation, Hare Krishna mantra meditation, actually we will overcome not only this life's karma, but also all this life's karma we can overcome just by chanting Hare Krishna mantra. And what happens when we don't have all this karma? It means we don't have future sufferings or future material enjoyments, but we'll go to spiritual world where we will have no depression at all, where we'll live in our spiritual body eternally and happily. Thank you so much. This was the video on how to overcome depression, and wishing you happiness. I'll end this video. Thank you. Hare Krishna.